Maya Johnson looked at her watch and sighed. She was early for her flight, but not as early as she liked to be. The Chicago airport was busy today, with people rushing in all directions. Maya pulled her small suitcase behind her, the wheels making a soft sound on the smooth floor. She was tired. The last 3 days had been filled with meetings about the big deal her company was about to make. Maya was the CEO of Horizon Technologies, a company she had built from nothing into a major player in the tech world. Today, she was flying to San Francisco for the final meeting with American Airways. Her company was about to sign a contract worth $950 million to create special software for their planes. It was the biggest deal in her company's history. Born in Nigeria, Maya had moved to America when she was 12 years old. She spoke perfect English, but she still had a slight accent that mixed her Nigerian roots with her American life. Most people didn't even notice it anymore. Maya certainly didn't think about it much. She joined the line for the premium check-in, glad that at least this part would be quick. Maya was dressed comfortably for travel in jeans, a simple blouse, and a light jacket. Her curly hair was pulled back in a neat bun. She didn't look like what many people expected a CEO to look like, and she was used to people being surprised when they learned what she did. It didn't bother her. She liked being underestimated sometimes. It made proving people wrong all the more satisfying. The line moved quickly, and soon Maya was standing in front of the check-in desk. The man behind the counter wore a name tag that said Keith Daniels. He had short brown hair and looked to be in his mid-30s. He didn't look up right away when Maya stepped forward. "Good morning," Maya said with a smile. "I'm flying to San Francisco on the 10:30 flight." Keith looked up, his eyes quickly taking in Maya's appearance. "Passport and boarding pass, please," he said, his voice flat. Maya handed over her documents and placed her suitcase on the scale. "I was wondering if there are any first-class upgrades available today. I have a lot of work to do on the flight, and the extra space would be helpful." Keith's expression changed slightly. His eyes moved to a female colleague standing at the next counter, and he raised his eyebrows just a bit. "I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't quite understand what you're saying," he said, but his tone had changed. He was speaking louder and slower, and with an exaggerated accent that sounded nothing like Maya's but was clearly meant to mock her. Maya froze. She had misheard him, surely. But then Keith looked at his colleague again, and the woman covered her mouth to hide a smile. A few other airport workers nearby were also watching now, and one of them snickered. "I was asking about first-class upgrades," Maya repeated, her voice level but cooler now. "I believe my question was clear." Keith smirked. "Oh, upgrades," he said again with the fake accent. "Well, those are very expensive, you know. Maybe you want to check the price first?" He stressed certain words oddly, making fun of how he thought she spoke. Maya felt her heart rate increase. This was really happening. Here, in a major airport, in 2025, a staff member was openly mocking her accent, and his colleagues were enjoying it. The man standing in line behind Maya shifted uncomfortably. An older woman a few spots back in the line frowned. They could see what was happening, but no one said anything. Maya took a deep breath. In her 20 years in America, she had dealt with many kinds of prejudice. As a black woman in the tech world, she had faced doubters and critics at every stage of her career. She had learned to pick her battles carefully. Some things she let slide to focus on her larger goals. But this felt different. This was so open, so shameless. "I'm well aware of the cost," Maya said evenly. "I fly first class regularly. I'm asking if there are any available seats on this particular flight." Keith seemed to realize that Maya wasn't going to be easily flustered. He typed something into his computer, not looking at her now. "Nothing available," he said shortly, dropping the fake accent. "Your gate is B22, boarding starts in 45 minutes. He pushed her passport and boarding pass across the counter. Maya didn't move. "I'd like your full name and employee ID number, please." Now Keith looked up, surprise crossing his face. "Excuse me?" "Your name and employee ID number," Maya repeated. "And I'd like to speak to your supervisor." Keith's confident smirk faded. He glanced at his colleague, who was suddenly busy with her own customer. Look, ma'am, there's a line forming, and Your name and ID number, Maya said again, her voice quiet but firm. Now. Something in her tone made Keith realize she wasn't going to back down. He reluctantly told her his full name and employee number, which Maya noted in her phone. Now your supervisor, please, she said. Keith picked up a phone and spoke quietly into it. A few minutes later, a woman in a different uniform appeared. Her name tag read, Patricia Martinez. Is there a problem here? Patricia asked, looking between Maya and Keith. Yes, Maya said. This agent mocked my accent when I asked a simple question about upgrades. His colleagues found it amusing. Patricia's eyes widened slightly, but she quickly composed her face. I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding. Keith is one of our best agents. There was no misunderstanding, Maya said firmly. He deliberately imitated and exaggerated what he thought my accent sounds like. It was disrespectful and unprofessional. Patricia looked uncomfortable. Well, I apologize if you felt offended, but we need to keep the line moving. Is there anything else I can help you with regarding your flight today? Maya noticed the careful wording. If you felt offended. Not an acknowledgement that anything wrong had happened. Just an attempt to move on quickly and avoid dealing with the real issue. I would like to file a formal complaint, Maya said. And I'd like your full name and position as well. Patricia's smile became strained. Of course, but that process takes time, and your flight will be boarding soon. Perhaps you could file the complaint online after your trip. Maya checked the time. She did need to make this flight. The meeting tomorrow was crucial, but something told her that if she walked away now, nothing would change. This would just be another incident swept under the rug. I'll make time, Maya said. Where can we speak privately? 15 minutes later, Maya sat in a small office with Patricia, who was taking notes with obvious reluctance. Maya described exactly what had happened, while Patricia occasionally tried to suggest alternative interpretations. Perhaps you misheard him, or Keith deals with hundreds of customers every day, he wouldn't single anyone out. Maya answered each excuse calmly but firmly. She knew what had happened. She wasn't confused or oversensitive. By the end of their conversation, Patricia seemed to realize that Maya wasn't going to be easily dismissed. I'll file this report, Patricia said finally. Someone from customer relations might contact you for follow-up. They will definitely contact me, Maya said, standing up. And I'll be following up myself if I don't hear anything within 24 hours. As Maya walked toward her gate, her phone rang. It was Ben Harris, her chief operations officer. Maya, how's Chicago? Ready for the big meeting tomorrow? Maya stopped walking. The incident at the check-in desk had made her think. If this was how American Airways staff behaved toward someone they saw as just another passenger, what did it say about the company's culture? What would it mean for her own employees, many of whom were immigrants or people of color, when they had to travel for work with American Airways? Ben, she said slowly, I need you to clear my schedule for the rest of the day and get me a conference call with the executive team in 1 hour. Is everything okay? Ben asked, concern in his voice. No, Maya said. But it will be. I have a decision to make. Maya sat in a quiet corner of the airport coffee shop. Her untouched drink grew cold as she waited for the conference call to begin. Her phone showed it was almost time. The events at the check-in desk kept playing in her mind, the mocking tone of Keith's voice, the smirks from his co-workers, the way Patricia had tried to brush it all away. Maya had built Horizon Technologies from nothing into a company worth billions. Along the way, she had learned when to let small problems go and when to take a stand. This felt like a moment that mattered. Her phone rang and Maya answered. On the call were Ben Harris, her chief operations officer, Alicia Green, her chief financial officer, and Sam Jackson, her head of legal. Thanks for joining on short notice, Maya said. Something happened at the airport that's making me rethink our deal with American Airways. She told them about the incident. No one interrupted her. That's unacceptable, Ben said when she finished. Completely unprofessional. Agreed, said Alicia. But Maya, this deal is worth $950 million. It's been in the works for over a year. I know exactly what it's worth, Maya said. That's why this matters even more. If this is how their staff behaves toward customers, what does it say about their company culture? There was silence on the line as everyone thought about this. What are you considering? Sam asked finally. I'm thinking about walking away from the deal, Maya said. The words felt both scary and right as she said them. More silence followed. That's a big move, Alicia said carefully. Our shareholders invested in a company with values, Maya cut in. We've always said we care about how people are treated. We can't just say that when it's easy. You're right, Ben said. But maybe there's a middle path? We could use this as leverage to demand changes in their training and policies. Maya considered this. Maybe. But I've seen how these things go. Companies make promises. They do a one-day training. Nothing really changes. What do you want us to do? Sam asked. I want you to look at our contract, Maya said. Find out exactly what it would mean if we walk away now. And I want all of you to think about what message we send if we go ahead with the deal after this. We'll get right on it, Sam promised. In the meantime, Maya said, I'm going to miss today's flight. I'll need a hotel for tonight while I decide what to do. After ending the call, Maya canceled her flight and booked a room at a hotel near the airport. By the time she arrived at her room, Sam had already sent her an email about the contract. There would be no financial penalty for backing out at this stage. The final papers hadn't been signed yet. Maya took off her shoes and lay on the hotel bed staring at the ceiling. Her phone kept buzzing with messages from her team. The entire company was buzzing about what might happen with the American Airways deal. Around 6 p.m., Maya's phone rang again. It was Sam. I've been thinking about what you said, he told her. About sending a message. You're right. If we let this slide, we're saying it's okay. Thanks, Sam, Maya said, feeling less alone in her decision. But, Sam added, if we're going to do this, we should do it right. Make it clear why we're walking away. Maya sat up. What are you suggesting? A letter to their CEO, Richard Bennett, explaining exactly what happened and why we're withdrawing from the deal. Professional but direct. I like it, Maya said. I'll start drafting something now. Maya opened her laptop and began to write. She described what had happened at the check-in desk in clear, simple terms. She explained that respect was a core value at Horizon Technologies, and that they couldn't partner with a company where such behavior was accepted. She ended by saying that Horizon would be open to working with American Airways in the future if they could demonstrate real change in their company culture. When she finished, Maya sent the draft to Sam for legal review. Then she ordered room service and tried to relax, but her mind kept racing. Was she making the right choice? A $950 million deal didn't come along every day. Other companies would be eager to take Horizon's place. Her phone rang again. It was Alicia. I ran the numbers, Alicia said without greeting. If we walk away from American Airways, we can survive. It won't be easy, but we have other clients, and I've already had calls from United Global and Pacific Air. They've heard rumors that our deal with American might be in trouble. That was fast, Maya said, surprised. News travels quickly in this industry, Alicia replied. The point is, we have options. This won't sink us. After they hung up, Maya felt more confident. Her team had her back. They understood what was at stake here, beyond just money. Later that evening, Sam sent back the letter with a few small changes. Maya read it over, made a final edit, and saved it. She wouldn't send it until morning. She wanted to sleep on such a big decision. But sleep didn't come easily. Maya tossed and turned, thinking about all the times in her life when she had faced prejudice or disrespect because of her accent, her skin color, or her gender. Most of those times, she had pushed forward, focusing on her goals rather than fighting. Every battle. She thought about her employees. Many of them were immigrants like her, or people of color, or women in an industry still dominated by men. What would it mean to them if she stood up now? And what would it mean if she didn't? By morning, Maya was tired but clear in her mind. She opened her laptop, attached the letter to an email addressed to Richard Bennett, CEO of American Airways, and pressed send. Then she called Ben. It's done, she told him. I've sent the letter to Bennett explaining why we're withdrawing from the deal. How do you feel? Ben asked. Like I did the right thing, Maya said, but also nervous about what comes next. We've got your back, Ben assured her. The whole team does. Maya's next call was to book a flight back home to Boston. She chose to fly with United Global, American Airways' biggest competitor. As Maya packed her small suitcase, her phone buzzed with a text from Sam. News is already spreading about our decision. Reporters are calling for comment. Maya wasn't surprised. A deal this big falling through would make news in the business world. She texted back, "Let's prepare a simple statement. Just the facts. No need to attack American Airways." She had just zipped up her suitcase when her phone rang again. The screen showed a number she didn't recognize. "Maya Johnson speaking," she answered. "Ms. Johnson, this is Richard Bennett, CEO of American Airways." His voice sounded tense. Maya sat down on the edge of the bed. "Mr. Bennett, I assume you've read my letter." "I have," he said. "And I want to say first that I'm deeply sorry for what happened at our check-in desk. It's completely unacceptable." "Yes, it is," Maya agreed. "But I'm hoping we can fix this." Bennett continued. "The agent has been suspended pending investigation. We can implement new training programs, whatever it takes to save our deal." Maya took a deep breath. "Mr. Bennett, I appreciate your call, but this isn't just about one agent or one incident. It's about company culture. The fact that multiple staff members thought it was okay to mock a customer's accent and a supervisor tried to dismiss it as a misunderstanding, that points to deeper issues." "We can address those issues," Bennett insisted. "Please, let's meet and discuss this." "I'm sorry, but my decision is final," Maya said firmly. "Horizon Technologies is withdrawing from the deal. We may be open to working together in the future if we see real change in your company. But for now, we'll be looking at other partners." There was silence on the line. Then Bennett said, his voice colder now, "You're making a mistake. No other airline can offer what we can." "That may be," Maya replied. "But some things are more important than business advantages. Goodbye, Mr. Bennett." Maya ended the call and looked out the hotel window at the busy airport in the distance. She felt lighter somehow, as if a weight had been lifted. Whatever challenges came next, she knew she had made the right choice. Her phone buzzed with a news alert. The headline read, "Horizon Technologies pulls out of $950 deal with American Airways. Sources say discrimination incident to blame." The news was out. There was no going back now. Maya's flight back to Boston was quiet. She had a window seat in first class on United Global Airlines. The flight attendants were polite and professional. No one mocked her accent. No one made her feel small or unwelcome. It seemed so simple, so basic, yet it was something American Airways had failed to provide. As the plane took off, Maya watched Chicago grow smaller below her. Her phone was turned off, but she knew it was probably buzzing with messages and calls. News of Horizon Technologies walking away from a $950 million deal would be spreading through the business world like wildfire. Maya closed her eyes. She felt certain about her decision, but she also knew the hard part was just beginning. She would need to explain her choice to the board, to shareholders, to employees. Some would understand. Others would question why one incident at an airport was worth losing such a valuable contract. When the plane landed in Boston, Maya turned her phone back on. It immediately began to ping with notifications. There were dozens of missed calls, hundreds of emails, and countless text messages. Maya scrolled through them quickly, noting which ones needed immediate attention. There was a message from Alicia. "American Airways stock down 7% after news broke. Our stock holding steady so far. Board wants emergency meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. From Ben, Pacific Air CEO called, wants to meet ASAP to discuss potential partnership. From Sam, media requests pouring in, holding them off for now. We need to agree on our public statement. And most surprisingly, a message from Lisa Winters, the CEO of United Global, the airline Maya had just flown with. Bold move with American Airways. Respect your principles. Let's talk when you have time. Maya's driver was waiting at the airport. As they drove toward her apartment, Maya called Sam. "It's crazy out there," Sam said when he answered. "Every business news outlet wants a comment. Social media is blowing up with the story." "What's the general reaction?" Maya asked. "Mixed," Sam replied. "Some people are calling you a hero for taking a stand. Others think it was an overreaction to walk away from such a big deal over one incident." "It wasn't just one incident," Maya said firmly. "It was what that incident revealed about their company culture." "I know," Sam said. "And for what it's worth, I'm seeing a lot of support from people who faced similar discrimination. Your decision is resonating with them." "That matters to me," Maya said softly. "Now, about that public statement. I think we should keep it simple and factual. No attacks on American Airways." "Agreed," Sam said. "I'll draft something and send it to you for approval." Next, Maya called Ben to discuss the interest from Pacific Air and other airlines. "Set up meetings," she told him. "But let's wait a few days. I don't want it to look like we're jumping from one deal to another without careful thought." By the time Maya reached her apartment, she was exhausted, but she still had one more important call to make. She dialed the number for Gloria Chen, the chairwoman of Horizon's board of directors. "Maya," Gloria answered immediately. "I've been following the news. Bold move." "It felt necessary," Maya said. "I know the board might have concerns." "Some do," Gloria admitted. "Walking away from $950 million isn't something we can ignore. But, personally, I understand your reasoning. Still, you'll need to explain your decision at tomorrow's meeting." "I'll be ready," Maya promised. After hanging up, Maya finally allowed herself to relax. She kicked off her shoes and poured a glass of wine. Looking out her window at the Boston skyline, she wondered if she had just made the biggest mistake of her career or its defining moment. The next morning, Maya arrived at Horizon headquarters early. The office was buzzing with energy. As she walked through the open workspace toward the conference room, employees looked up from their desks. Some smiled at her. Others looked worried or curious. Maya stopped at Alicia's office on her way to the board meeting. "How bad is it going to be?" she asked. Alicia looked up from her computer. "The numbers aren't pretty. Losing the American Airways deal leaves a big hole in our projected revenue. But we're stable, and interest from other airlines is already coming in." "That's something, at least," Maya said. "For what it's worth," Alicia added, "I think you did the right thing, and I'm not the only one who feels that way." The board meeting was tense, but not as difficult as Maya had feared. She explained what had happened at the airport and why she felt Horizon couldn't move forward with the deal. This company was built on certain values, she told the board members. Respect is one of them. If we compromise on our values for profit, what kind of company are we? Some board members nodded. Others frowned. "I understand your principles," said Frank Powell, one of the more finance-focused board members. "But $950 million is a lot of money to walk away from over one employee's bad behavior." "It wasn't just one employee," Maya explained. "It was also how the supervisor handled it, and how the CEO responded when I told him we were withdrawing. His first concern was saving the deal, not addressing the real problem." Gloria spoke up. "I think what we're really discussing is what kind of company Horizon wants to be. Are we willing to work with partners who don't share our values?" The debate continued for over an hour. In the end, the board voted to support Maya's decision, though not unanimously. 3 members voted against her, making it clear they thought the decision was a mistake. After the meeting, Maya went to her office and closed the door. She needed a moment to breathe. Her assistant Zoe knocked softly and entered with a cup of coffee. "You might want to see this," Zoe said, handing Maya a tablet open to a news website. The headline read, "American Airways announces termination of employee after racism allegations from Horizon Technologies CEO." Below it was a statement from Richard Bennett saying that American Airways had zero tolerance for discriminatory behavior and that the incident did not reflect the company's values. Maya shook her head. "Too little, too late," she said. "There's more," Zoe told her. People are sharing stories on social media about times they face similar discrimination at airports. It's becoming a movement. They're using the hashtag #RespectMatters. Maya was surprised. She hadn't expected her personal stand to spark such a wide response, but it made sense. What had happened to her at that check-in desk had happened to countless others in different settings. The difference was that most people didn't have the power to walk away from a $950 million deal in response. Later that afternoon, Maya held a company-wide meeting to explain her decision to all Horizon employees. The large presentation room was packed, with some people standing against the walls and others joining by video from other offices. "I know many of you are concerned about what this means for our company," Maya began. Walking away from the American Airways deal was not an easy choice, but it was the right one. She told them about the incident and what it had revealed about American Airways culture. "At Horizon, we believe in treating people with respect. That includes our partners and their employees. We can't ask you to work with a company where you might face discrimination because of your accent, your appearance, or your background." Maya saw many employees nodding. Some had tears in their eyes. "It won't be easy," she continued. "We'll need to work harder to find new partners and new opportunities, but I believe we'll be stronger for it in the end." When Maya finished speaking, the room erupted in applause. Employees stood up, clapping and cheering. Maya felt a lump in her throat. This was why she had made her decision. Not just for herself, but for all of them. As the applause died down, an employee raised her hand. "What happens now?" she asked. Maya smiled. "Now," she said, "we get back to work. We have other airlines interested in our software. We have new products to develop. And we have a company to run, one that stands by its values no matter what." The days after Maya's decision turned into weeks. The business world could not stop talking about how Horizon Technologies had walked away from a $950 million deal with American Airways. The story was in all the major business magazines and news shows. Some called Maya brave, others called her foolish, but everyone was watching what would happen next. Maya sat in her office looking at the 3 proposals on her desk. Pacific Air, United Global, and Sky Connect had all reached out with offers to work with Horizon. None of the deals were as big as the American Airways contract would have been, but together they could make up for most of the lost business. Ben knocked on her open door. "Got a minute?" he asked. "Come in," Maya said, gesturing to the chair across from her desk. Ben sat down. The team finished the review of Pacific Air's offer. It looked solid. Their company culture seems good too. We talked to some of their staff, checked their diversity policies, looked at how they handle complaints. No red flags. Maya nodded. "That's good to hear. What about the others?" "Still working on those," Ben said. "But I wanted to show you something else." He handed Maya his tablet, open to a news website. The headline read, "American Airways announces new diversity training program." After losing major deal, Maya read the article quickly. American Airways was requiring all employees to complete a new training program on respecting diversity. They had also hired a chief diversity officer and set up a special system for reporting discrimination incidents. Too little too late?" Ben asked. Maya handed back the tablet. "Maybe, but it's something. If they're serious about these changes, it could make a difference for their employees and customers." "Do you regret walking away from the deal?" Ben asked. Maya thought for a moment. "No," she said finally. "Even if they're making changes now, they needed to understand there are real consequences for allowing that kind of behavior. And honestly, I'm not sure they would be doing any of this if we had just accepted an apology and moved forward with the contract." Ben nodded. "The board seems to be coming around too. Even Frank Powell admitted yesterday that the interest from other airlines is stronger than he expected." "That's good to know," Maya said. "Now we just need to decide which of these offers to accept, or all of them," Ben suggested. "They're smaller contracts, but that means less risk if one doesn't work out." Maya smiled. "I like how you think." After Ben left, Maya checked her email. There was a message from a reporter at Business Weekly. asking for an interview about what had happened and how it had affected Horizon. Maya had turned down most interview requests so far, preferring to let the story die down. But maybe it was time to share her perspective. She replied to the email, agreeing to the interview but setting some ground rules. She didn't want to focus only on the negative experience at the airport. She wanted to talk about the importance of company culture and how businesses could do better. The next day, Maya met the reporter Diane Fox at a quiet cafe near Horizon's office. "Thank you for agreeing to talk with me," Diane said after they had ordered coffee. "Your decision to walk away from the American Airways deal has become a major business story." "It wasn't an easy choice," Maya said, "but it was the right one for our company." "Can you tell me exactly what happened that day at the airport?" Diane asked. Maya described the incident clearly but without anger. She explained how Keith had mocked her accent and how his supervisor had tried to brush it off. "And that was enough for you to walk away from $950 million? Diane asked, her pen poised over her notebook. "It wasn't just about that one moment," Maya explained. "It was about what it showed about their company culture. At Horizon, we believe in treating everyone with respect. We couldn't partner with a company where that value wasn't shared." "Some critics say you overreacted," Diane noted, "that you could have addressed the issue without pulling out of the deal." Maya took a sip of her coffee before answering. "If American Airways had taken the incident seriously from the start, maybe we could have found another solution. But when I spoke to their CEO, his main concern was saving the deal, not fixing the real problem." "And how has your decision affected Horizon?" Diane asked. "We've had to adjust our plans," Maya admitted, "but we've also received offers from other airlines who want to work with us. And something unexpected has happened too. We've heard from people around the world who faced similar experiences. Our stand has started important conversations about respect in the workplace." Diane nodded, writing quickly. "The hashtag #respect matters has been trending for weeks now." "Yes," Maya said, "and that's perhaps the most important outcome of all this." After the interview, Maya walked back to her office feeling lighter. Telling. Her story had helped her process everything that had happened. When she got back to Horizon, Alicia was waiting for her with news. "United Global just increased their offer," she said excitedly. "They want to be our primary airline partner. The new deal would be worth $500 million over 5 years. "That's significant," Maya said, impressed. "Why the sudden increase?" "Their CEO, Lisa Winters, said something interesting," Alicia replied. "She said consumers are paying attention to which companies take stands on issues like respect and diversity. United Global wants to be on the right side of that conversation." Maya smiled. Her decision was having ripple effects she hadn't anticipated. Later that week, Maya received an email that surprised her. It was from Keith Daniels, the airport agent who had mocked her accent. "Ms. Johnson," the email began. "You don't know me, but I'm the person who treated you disrespectfully at Chicago O'Hare Airport 3 weeks ago. I wanted to apologize for my behavior. It was unprofessional and wrong. After American Airways fired me, I've had time to think about what I did and why. I'm enrolling in a program to learn more about unconscious bias and how to treat everyone with respect. I know this doesn't undo the hurt I caused, but I wanted you to know that I'm trying to learn from my mistake." Maya read the email twice. She hadn't expected to hear from Keith, and certainly not in such a reflective way. She decided to respond. "Mr. Daniels," she wrote, "thank you for your email. It takes courage to admit mistakes and try to learn from them. I appreciate your apology and your efforts to grow from this experience. I wish you well on your journey. It was a small exchange, but it felt important somehow. Maybe some good could come from this difficult situation after all." The next day, Maya had a video call with Lisa Winters, the CEO of United Global. They discussed the details of the potential partnership and how their companies might work together. "I have to admit," Lisa said toward the end of the call, "your stand against American Airways influenced our decision to increase our offer. It showed us that Horizon doesn't just talk about values, you live them. That's the kind of partner we want." "I appreciate that," Maya said. "Values shouldn't just be words on a company website. They should guide our actions even when it's difficult." Exactly, Lisa agreed. Now, shall we move forward with the contract? I think we should, Maya said, smiling. After the call ended, Maya looked out her office window at the Boston skyline. 3 weeks ago, she had stood up for what she believed was right, not knowing what would happen next. It had been a risk, but it was paying off in ways she hadn't expected. Her phone buzzed, with a text from Ben. Just saw the news. American Airways Chief Diversity Officer is giving a press conference about their new policies. Looks like they're really trying to change. Maya texted back, "Good. That's what this was all about." Because in the end, it wasn't about punishing American Airways. It was about creating change. It was about showing that respect matters, in business and in life. 6 months had passed since that day at Chicago O'Hare Airport, when Keith Daniels mocked Maya Johnson's accent. 6 months since Maya had made the bold decision to withdraw from a $950 million deal with American Airways. The business world had watched closely to see what would happen next. Maya sat in her office reviewing the quarterly reports. Horizon Technologies was thriving. The partnership with United Global was going well. Their software was now being used in over 200 planes, with plans to expand to the entire fleet by the end of the year. The smaller deals with Pacific Air and SkyConnect were also moving forward smoothly. There was a knock on her door. Ben Harris entered with a tablet in his hand. "Have you seen this?" he asked, handing the tablet to Maya. It was an email invitation from American Airways. They were hosting a diversity and inclusion summit next month and wanted Maya to be the keynote speaker. "Interesting," Maya said, reading through the details. "They've really been working on their company culture." It was true. In the 6 months since the incident, American Airways had made significant changes. They had hired Vanessa Rodriguez, a well-respected diversity expert, as their chief diversity officer. All employees had completed a comprehensive training program on unconscious bias and respectful communication. They had set up a new system for reporting and addressing discrimination complaints. And most importantly, they were being transparent about their progress, publishing regular updates on their website. "Are you going to accept?" Ben asked. Maya thought for a moment. "I'm not sure. What do you think?" "I think it could be good," Ben said. "It would show that this was never about punishing them. It was about creating positive change." Maya nodded. The invitation wasn't just about a speaking engagement. It was an olive branch, a sign that American Airways had taken her concerns seriously and was trying to do better. "I'll think about it," she said. Later that day, Maya had a video call with Gloria Chen, the chairwoman of Horizon's board. "The board is very pleased with our current partnerships," Gloria told her. "United Global in particular has exceeded our expectations." "Yes, it's been a good fit," Maya agreed. "Their company culture aligns well with ours." "Speaking of company culture," Gloria said, "I heard American Airways invited you to speak at their diversity summit." News traveled fast in the business world. "Yes, they did," Maya confirmed. "It might be worth considering," Gloria suggested. "They've made real changes, and it would show that Horizon is willing to give second chances when they're earned." After the call, Maya went for a walk to clear her head. The spring air in Boston was crisp and refreshing. As she walked, she thought about everything that had happened since that day at the airport. The Respect Matters movement had grown beyond anything she could have imagined. People around the world were sharing their stories of facing discrimination and standing up against it. Companies were paying more attention to how their employees treated customers and each other. It wasn't just about accents anymore. It was about creating workplaces and businesses where everyone was treated with dignity. Maya remembered the email she had received from Keith Daniels. He had apologized and said he was trying to learn from his mistake. She wondered where he was now and what he had learned from the experience. When Maya returned to her office, she made a decision. She would accept American Airways' invitation to speak at their summit. Not to forgive and forget, but to acknowledge their efforts to change and to continue the important conversation about respect in business. She wrote a careful response to the invitation, accepting the opportunity but making it clear that her speech would be honest about what had happened and what it had revealed about their company culture at the time. The response came quickly. They understood, and still wanted, her to speak. They believed her perspective would be valuable for their ongoing efforts to improve. Maya began working on her speech. She wanted to strike the right balance between acknowledging the progress American Airways had made and reminding everyone why that progress had been necessary in the first place. On the day of the summit, Maya arrived at the American Airways headquarters in Dallas. The building was impressive with a modern design and large windows that let in plenty of natural light. Inside, the conference room was filled with people from all levels of the company, from executives to frontline staff. Richard Bennett, the CEO of American Airways, greeted Maya personally. "Thank you for coming," he said, extending his hand. "It means a lot to us." Maya shook his hand. "I'm interested to see the changes you've made," she said. "We still have work to do," Bennett admitted, "but we're committed to doing better." Vanessa Rodriguez, the chief diversity officer, gave Maya a tour of the building, explaining the new programs and policies that had been put in place. "Your stand was a wake-up call for us," she said. "It made us look hard at our company culture and recognize where we were falling short." When it was time for Maya to speak, the room fell silent. She took her place at the podium and looked out at the audience. "6 months ago, I walked away from a $950 million deal with American Airways," she began. "It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one at the time." She told the story of what had happened at the airport, not to shame anyone, but to help everyone understand why it had mattered so much. "It wasn't just about one employee mocking my accent," she explained. "It was about a culture that allowed it to happen, that made other employees feel comfortable laughing along, that led a supervisor to dismiss my concerns. It was about the message that sent to me and to everyone who has ever been made to feel small because of who they are or how they speak." Maya saw people in the audience nodding. Some looked uncomfortable, but they were listening. "Since then, American Airways has taken important steps to change that culture," she continued. "New training programs, new leadership, new ways for employees and customers to report problems and be heard. These are significant changes, and they matter." She paused, looking around the room. "But the work isn't done," she said. "Creating a truly respectful and inclusive environment is an ongoing process. It requires constant attention and commitment. It means listening when people tell you there's a problem, even when it's difficult to hear. It means valuing respect as much as you value profit." After Maya's speech, there was a panel discussion about creating inclusive workplaces. One of the panelists was a surprise to Maya. It was Patricia Martinez, the supervisor who had tried to dismiss her complaint that day at the airport. "I made a mistake," Patricia said when it was her turn to speak. "When Ms. Johnson reported that an employee had mocked her accent, I tried to smooth things over rather than addressing the real problem. I was more concerned with avoiding conflict than with doing what was right. I've learned a lot since then about what true leadership means." After the summit, Maya met with Richard Bennett again. This time, their conversation was different from the tense phone call 6 months earlier. "We'd like to explore the possibility of working with Horizon Technologies again," Bennett said. "Not the full contract we discussed before, but perhaps a smaller project to start. A chance to rebuild trust." Maya considered his offer. "I'd be open to discussing it," she said. "But I'd want to see clear evidence that the changes you've made are taking root throughout the company, not just at headquarters." "That's fair," Bennett agreed. As Maya's car took her to the airport for her flight back to Boston, she reflected on the day. The summit had been more meaningful than she had expected. American Airways seemed genuinely committed to change. And her decision 6 months ago had helped make that happen. Her phone buzzed with a text from Ben. "How did it go?" Maya typed back. "Better than I expected. They want to work with us again on a smaller project." "Are we interested?" Ben asked. Maya looked out the car window at the passing cityscape. "Maybe," she replied, "if they keep moving in the right direction." Because that had been the point all along. Not to punish American Airways forever, but to push them to be better. to show that respect matters not just in words, but in actions, to prove that standing up for what's right can change not just one company but an entire industry. As Maya boarded her flight home, she smiled at the flight attendant who greeted her. The woman spoke with an accent similar to Maya's own. "Welcome aboard, Ms. Johnson," she said warmly. "We're honored to have you flying with us today." It was a small moment, but it meant everything. This was what respect looked like. This was what mattered.